Hey, World Vision fans, this is your global original Nashtaters bringing you another episode of War of the Visions. Today is Monday. I hope you guys had a great weekend because I know I did. And it was a busy week and it was very fun because I'm spending a lot of time playing this game and something that I haven't really done in a long time. The last 3 weeks have been very barren in terms of content, and essentially I spent a bulk of my time most likely watching shows instead of playing a lot of War of the Visions. But this week I've double timed and I put in a lot of effort to try to bring up the new units that just recently joined my account. Now today is Monday and there's going to be a lot of news coming. Essentially Auron is joining the team and of course new vision cards. First anniversary part 2 login bonus. As you can see, we're going to get more anniversary tickets. We're going to be getting 2,500 visitors, and of course we're going to be getting some other goodies along the way. First year anniversary once a day celebration quest, in which any player of any level should be able to accomplish, and you get 500 free visitors along with growth eggs, experiment cubes, really a lot of good stuff. So make sure you go ahead and tune in and prioritize this quest right when you log in. Chapter 13 Scene 1 will be released. For those of you who are really big into stories, hopefully you guys will get to enjoy some more of this delicious content for War of the Visions. And for me, like I always say, whenever there's a new scene or new chapter out, all it really means to me is there's going to be a lot of free goodies. Final Fantasy X login bonus part 2, in which case you will get access to 80 shards of Auron, and on top of it we're going to be getting the MR, a place unknown vision card, absolutely free just for logging in. And along the way you should be getting a lot more visitors in the vicinity of 2,500. So what we're bringing up to essentially is 5,000 free visitors, and on top of it another 500 from the daily, so that's roughly 5,500. So you can't really complain for entire weeks of login. Now obviously Auron is a sword user, so once again we'll be getting a new quest in which to farm. And for those of you that haven't farmed the staff, just bear in mind I am going to go over that staff and I'm going to compare that staff to our existing staff. So what that means is I'm going to be bundling up all the equipment from Final Fantasy X and go ahead and say if they're truly worth farming, and obviously is it worth your time. The Shimmering Blade will be the item to be farming during EX Quest 2, in which case obviously it's designed most likely for Auron himself. So is it going to be a good weapon? I guess we're going to find out soon enough. The last bit of news before I go into talking about Auron and the new vision cards is Final Fantasy Xvius Universe collaboration campaign is over. And what that means is we're going to be enjoying some nice rewards. Now for those of you who participated in the live stream, in which was sponsored by War of the Visions, you will notice that Mr. Hiroki played a little dark game in which essentially he changed things around by giving us essentially 6,000 visitors for accomplishing our goal from the War of the Vision side. Added to the previous tier of rewards, what you're going to end up getting is Fina and Mashity mobile wallpaper, visitors of 6,700, MR guaranteed unit summon ticket times 1, and UR guaranteed summon ticket times 2. So this is going to be essentially added to the 5,500 visitors we're going to be getting over the course of the next 7 days. So you're looking at about 12,000 free visitors. This is going to be a great opportunity for us to replenish our resources, because Final Fantasy X essentially drained resources from us for quite a bit. And those of you who don't know already, but Final Fantasy VII is actually just recently being announced in JP. I'm going to go ahead and cover that information plus what the impact it could have on War of the Visions on my Friday Free Thinking episode. So stay tuned for that. Auron is an UR swordsman and he is of the ice element. So honestly, there's not a whole lot to talk about besides the fact that I know a lot of players are actually thinking about going for him. He has the pugilist subjob and the soldier subjob. Personally, I'm gonna have to pass. And I think one thing people need to understand is too much of a good thing perhaps is not good for us. And what I mean by that is whenever they release a collaboration, they really essentially shouldn't be honestly giving us too many units. Giving us just Yuna and Tidus, in my honest opinion, probably would have been good enough. The reason being is most players are not going to go after both units, and forcefully they have to choose. So what essentially it means is Auron may be skipped by many players, myself included. And what ultimately hurts him also is the fact that he is of the ice element, in which case it's already currently very, very stacked. And I know that one of the things that the game is trying to emphasize is getting us to build up as many units as possible for each element, given that the masteries have been released. Again, I will be covering that along with EX job later this week, so also stay tuned for that video. One of the problems of the game is there's never going to be an end, right? The game will never end essentially until it actually, well, ends. And they're going to always release more units, they're always going to release more vision cards. And one of the biggest problems that the game itself hurts itself is the fact that they're releasing too many units too quickly. And what's going to end up happening is, well, if you want to find out, stay tuned for the Friday Thinking episode on Friday. But in a nutshell, Auron is a unit that perhaps most people, if you enjoy ice, are going to want. And if you don't, well, you probably should skip, to be quite honest, simply because he doesn't bring anything to the table that makes him extraordinary. He's going to be another slash unit that has guaranteed heads, and he can deal really good damage. I'm not going to deny that. But we already have a lot of those units in the game itself. Maybe not necessarily just in ice, but we already have too many of those units per se. And unless you're a Kraken, a Whale, or Maverick himself, most likely he's going to be a unit you should probably not think too much about. New vision card is Stuteki.net. I know I butchered that name, and my voice acting skills are wanting to kick in for this. But to be honest, it's not going to happen in this video. Maybe in a different video. So let's take a look. Party ability, slash attack up, critical hit rate up, and max HP up. But this only applies to water units. And on top of it, the limited bestow effect is attack up, again, water units. And finally, for the global buff, Tidus only, it gets defensive piercing and accuracy up. So essentially in a nutshell, this is a card that's designed obviously for Tidus. If you're one of those folks that try to get Yuna or didn't think about getting Yuna, this may be the card to actually spend some of your Visiors on, because this essentially will put Tidus sort of where he needs to be in terms of power level. But bear in mind, Tidus is already very good. And I think what this card essentially does is it just kind of takes him over the top. It's essentially a card that pairs with him, while the Bahamut card potentially could be paired up for Yuna in terms of power level. So what I'll do is I'll leave it up to each individual if they feel like this card is something they really need to bring Tidus to perhaps to the next level, or are they already happy with the fact that Tidus is already very powerful. The other option you can have is obviously rely on the card that they give into us absolutely for free, which I personally feel like it's a better looking card in terms of design. A Better Place Unknown gives you missile resistance, dex up, and accuracy up for water types, and bestowed effect is going to be agility up. Now this is definitely not going to be a power level in terms of damage boost, but is quite nice upgrade in terms of speed, accuracy, which Tidus is already very fast in terms of agility. So I think this is a very good card to supplement with. And by the way, he is absolutely free, so there's absolutely no reason not to actually think about just using this card if you are thinking about skipping the UR version of a more powerful card. I want to thank y'all for watching. I want to thank y'all for the continued support. Right now, we're going to award again those players who decided to get to the very end of this video, and we're going to do our 10x daily summons. As you can see, my Visior count is deplenished quite a bit, but I do plan on picking up some of the packs before they expire. And for me, I think ultimately there isn't a whole lot of things that I'm looking for anymore, because we're given that selector ticket. And I know a lot of folks actually created a content in which they're recommending which unit you should go after. Personally, I'm not going to make that type of video because I think each individual should be able to figure out what type of unit they're looking for based on their own playing style. Because the playing style varies drastically from player to player, it's kind of a moot point to really actually recommend what unit is considered someone you should consider. Personally, I like tanks, I like healers, so I'm going to recommend tanks and healers. but that's not a lot of players' playing style, right? I think a lot of people tell me they went for Garble. Some players went after Sakura. So it really depends on where you at also. If you're a brand new player, you can literally select anybody that you want. And if you're a player that's been around for a long time like me, you're only needing a couple of units to finish your Pokédex. Most likely I'll probably just go after those. Alright, let's see what we get here. Diablos, alright, not too shabby. Alright, in conclusion, I feel like Auron is kind of going to be a big miss. I know a lot of players are actually thinking about him to make Ice/Team, and that is great and all, but it's very, very niche, and it's also very, very expensive. So for a free-to-play player, I highly recommend skipping Auron and most likely start saving up again for the future collaborations. And for those of you who are getting him, definitely enjoy him because to me, he's going to probably be a very nice addition to your Ice team. All in all, I hope you guys have a great week. And until then, I'll see you guys tomorrow. And remember, time is your most valuable resource, so spend it wisely. Take care of yourself and all your loved ones. Nashtaters out of here. Peace out.